Okay.
La, 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 la.
I got a late start Thursday night. I got a late start Thursday night on purpose. Decided to push the envelope just a little bit. Decided to violate the 8 p.m. curfew imposed by New York Mayor Bill de Blasio. My personal idea of what dissent means. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? My streets. Whose park? My Union Square Park. After all, I have been coming there since I was 14, back in 1971, as soon as I had my first delivery boy job at St. Nicholas Delicatessen on Fordham Road in the Bronx of my youth. I worked on tips, and $1 an hour slipped to me by the boss, John LaMonica. If I stay for an 8-hour shift, still less than the current $3 an hour minimum wage, but my own personal money meant freedom. Work for a couple hours. Subway fare was 35 cents. Round trip to Union Square back on the number 4 Lexington Avenue IRT line from the Fordham Road station was under $1. Movies on the east side of Manhattan were $5. A quart of Rheingold beer was $2. And evening entertainment for under $10. Head out for an adventure in the wicked, wicked city. A year or so later, $5 would get you a nickel bag of pot from the Puerto Rican drug dealers in Union Square Park, an open-air marijuana market those days, that is, if you didn't get burnt buying deep weed or busted during the occasional drug raid by the New York Police Department. This was the Union Square station of Walter Hill's 1979 film, The Warriors, an evil labyrinth of urine-soaked tunnels, passages, and dead ends. The Big Top Circus snack bar with its paper cone cups inside zinc holders for your syrupy flat Coke, orange drink, and cherry ice slush puppies. Pinball machines, crazy clown helium balloon mannequins, and mechanical quick-draw Western gunslinger games, along with cotton candy, soft-serve black and white custard cones, and charcoal-blackened mystery meat hot dogs, skewered on metal spikes, rotating for all eternity, delivered to your hands by morbidly obese bald guys in party-colored red striped shirts and white paper counterman caps. Yummy, yum, yum. Them's good eats. But it was an adventure for me and Pitt, my boy, back in 1971. Fast forward to 2020. Union Square has been gentrified. May's Discount Store, the Village Voice Building, S. Klein's department store replaced by the Zeckendorf Towers and the Food Emporium have all been demolished. Max's Kansas City, the Peppermint Lounge, Sam Goody's music store, all shuttered and replaced by Foot Locker, Reebok store, Skechers, Whole Food, Trader Joe's, and of course, Starbucks. The open-air drug bazaar has also been closed. The smoke, coke, hash, heroin, THC, LSD, purple mescaline dealers, driven out by TNT, the New York Police Department Tactical Narcotic Task Force. Today, a small cadre of addicts, mostly crackheads, pharmaceutical opioid users, and Xanax dependents still congregate beneath the great oak tree semicircle of the park's east side, but only trade for or buy drugs between themselves, tolerated by the blind eye turned on them by the foot patrol officer who only hands out summonses for violations of open alcohol container civil code quality of life issues. These days, with Washington Park closed, merely a New York University campus quadrangle, and Tompkins Square Park, a quiet Park Slope-style neighborhood playground for middle-aged, one-time anarchists and new arrival condo co-op dwelling Wall Street stockbroker yuppies, Union Square Park has emerged as a nexus site for social activism, which means that the recent rise of the Black Lives Matter movement following the tragic murder of George Floyd at the hands, or more accurately, knees, of rogue Minneapolis killer cops, the protests, demonstrations, and even the violence and the looting have returned to the new Union Square Park. Foot Locker, GameStop, Reebok, Wells Fargo, and Santander Bank, even the Strand Bookstore, and of course, Starbucks, were all looted after the Monday night 11 p.m. curfew was invoked by Mayor Bill de Blasio. So the next night, the curfew was moved up to 8 p.m., which seemed a mite too harsh a response and a bit too early for the taste of Big fucking Mike. So that Thursday night, Masked Man decided to test the limits of civil disobedience by attempting to violate the newly imposed earlier curfew time in Union Square Park. Masked Man is Big Mike's new social activist alter ego, a nickname bestowed upon him by Mama, the latest transsexual queen of the Union Square Park crusty kids. Thursday evening, I board what may be likely the last M14A crosstown bus from Chelsea to University Place, the western verge of Union Square, at about 7 p.m. Plenty of time to change my mind about breaking the law before the curfew arrives. The crowd of 1,000, more or less, protesters are still in full force, vocal and loud in the South Plaza, beneath the equestrian bronze statue of General George Washington. The police stand in clusters surrounding the demonstrators, wearing their full riot gear, helmets, batons, and zip-tie plastic wrist restraints in anticipation of impending curfew hour violators. Does one of these pairs of disposable handcuffs have Masked Man's name on them? Masked Man occupies a park bench in his usual corner, alongside the long-term derelicts, alkies, and homeless drifters by the east side great oak tree semicircle, where he becomes instantly invisible to both the protesters and the police. The giant illuminated digital perpetual clock on the bronze facade of the erstwhile Virgin Records building on Lafayette Street flashes 1917 hours, military time, or 7:17 p.m. civilian time. Again, there's plenty of time to make a decision one way or the other. I listen to Q104.3 FM Classic Rock on my shitty little Sony transistor radio. The crowd sounds of the protesters wax and wane according to the energy and excitement generated by the demonstration speakers. 19:59:45, 15 seconds to curfew. Carol Miller spins Ramble On during her Get the Let Out series at 8 p.m. The curfew has fallen. Slowly make my way to the west side of the park, looking up into the skyline of the square. There, beneath the twin red brick towers of the Zeckendorf family real estate swindle, stands the spire of the Consolidated Edison building. Its giant illuminated analog clock dial flashes 7:10, still oriented to Eastern Standard Time. So in reality, I have already violated the curfew 10 minutes ago. On the corner of University Place and 14th Street stands a platoon of a dozen or so cops in full riot gear, nervously checking their watches and eyeballing the protesters who show no sign of dispersing. Some old dude limping by them on two aluminum canes and a black Harley Davidson logo bandana becomes invisible. A handful of white demonstrators peel off from the main crowd and slowly make their way west towards Fifth Avenue. The police now have a purpose: ensure that these stragglers keep moving on in the direction of Brooklyn-bound subways on the 6th Avenue and do not return to the main body. They form a line like sheep herders, driving their sheep before them. They pass right by me as I wait at the crosstown bus stop on the corner of University Place. The final westbound M14 arrives empty, picks me up, and deposits me on 7th Avenue. As I disembark, an army of police hitch a ride for somewheres along the West Side Highway, searching for errant curfew violators. By the time I reach my West Village studio apartment, my shitty little Android phone displays 8:36 p.m. Mission accomplished.